On Wednesday, the jury unanimously found AEG Live not liable for the death of the King of Pop. Joining us now with more on this historic case is journalist and attorney Rupa Mikkilineni. Rupa, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, we have to ask you, were you surprised by this verdict?
Shocked.
Shocked, because when you just were on the show earlier.
I was on the show last week.
You thought they were going to get some money.
They were going to get some money. I was shocked and upset.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Why?
For a few reasons. One is that when you look generally at this case, the culpability lies in three different places: AEG, Dr. Murray, and Michael Jackson himself.
Okay.
So, you know, if you look at it just fairly, 33%, 33%, 33%. Now, I'm not saying that the billions or the multi-millions that the Jackson family were asking for was the appropriate number, but this is just a matter of culpability, and I am shocked that they found AEG not even remotely responsible for
But
this.
what was the fundamental argument? Why did they decide to let AEG walk?
Right. It looks like the problem, the issue that the Jacksons were unable to prove was that Dr. Murray was a competent doctor. And competency is incredibly important because as an employer, AEG is the employer, all they're duty bound to do is check Dr. Murray's credentials, make sure he's board certified, has his MD, and that he's an okay doctor, and he doesn't have any complaints against him from the past. And therefore, they didn't make any mistakes in hiring him. So once that was determined that he was competent, then the jury didn't even look to the other questions.
So they put most of the blame on Jackson himself at that point.
Correct.
Wow,
So what does this mean for the family? They get nothing, no money, no
big-
apology, nothing? A big fat zero?
a big bill from their lawyers, though.
Not exactly,
Oh, really?
because apparently the deal that they have is that they only pay if they get money.
Oh, okay.
So this is a
That's fair.
contingency fee-based situation. Right.
Wow, and this was a unanimous vote that the jury came to. 12 of them agreed to say they are not liable in any cases of this situation.
Well, nothing.
Do you think that they should have been liable? You said 33%, so should they have been liable for at least part of that? And how would they been able to distract that part of the case?
Right. Well, first of all, to make a point about unanimity, nothing's ever really unanimous per se. What happens is this jury gets in a room, and if some people are on one side and the other is on, then the strongest person in the jury foreman, they sort of convince each other, and then they become unanimous, for example. So the one thing that was unanimous, which we now know, and this is wonderful that the jury foreman came out and spoke and addressed the media and the public, he basically said that they all did determine that Murray was an employee of AEG. And of course, you realize AEG was saying, claiming he wasn't even their employee initially.
Despite the fact that there were emails saying, AEG to Conrad, you work for us.
Precisely, and payment coming from AEG. Sorry, but that means employer-employee.
Exactly.
You know, so so that was unanimous. But the part that they were fighting about was whether or not Conrad Murray was competent. And so they debated that, and they finally decided to go with he was competent. AEG did not make a mistake hiring him. Now, here's the issue, right? Conrad Murray's criminal actions, AEG is not culpable for that unless they told him to do it.
And there was no smoking gun, no email evidence saying, give him propofol, give him whatever he needs to get him on this stage. There was no evidence of that, so that's why AEG basically walked.
That's it.
Wow.
So could the Jackson family have done anything differently?
This is a great question. And again, it all depends on what evidence exists. And this is the problem. At this point, this trial court has made their decision. Their only option is to appeal to the appellate court, but that gets very tricky. In law, an appellate court won't even consider an appeal unless there are errors made by the trial court, maybe perhaps in jury instruction, maybe procedurally, or perhaps even fraud by the
So could
defendants.
they even have a case?
They could if they can prove these items, then they can go ahead and appeal.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Oh,
It's over, huh?
It's over, I'm afraid. Sad to hear
Well,
that.
it lasted long enough.
5 months, you're right.
Yes. All right.
Let's put Michael to rest.
All right. Well, thank you. And now we got to find out what our viewers think about this whole case. Tweet us your thoughts at Arise TV 360.